Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 16 of Sunday Service with me, your host, Aaron Chandler. How are we, guys? It's good to see you guys again. The video quality looks really weird in this episode. I don't know what that is. Something's wrong with the camera. I can't figure it out, so we're just accepting it and we're moving on, and that's going to be okay. I don't know. Is the lighting too warm? I don't know. I don't know how exactly any of this works. We're just going freestyle on it. Okay. Let's continue with the episode. So, how is your week going, guys? Mine's going good. I'm having a good time. Nothing cataclysmic has happened in my life. It's all just going, stay in the course. Am I a famous, successful comedian yet? No. Have I made further progress to get there in the past week? No, also no. Do I think that probably is a foolish dream and I should just give up? A little bit sometimes. Will I give up? No, because it's good to have hobbies too. You know what I mean? It's always good to have a hobby. But on the flip side, also it's not like I've realized that I definitely will never be. It's not like, the pains of unsuccess are weighing heavily upon me. It's just going basically fine. So yeah, I've got I guess I've been going to the gym recently. Yeah, that's kind of something we're getting in. Oh, biggest arm ever. Obviously not. Still so skinny. That happens. It takes a while for the progress to unfold. But I think based on when I started and how quickly I'm making progress, obviously you make progress faster in the beginning. It's called newbie gains. I'm kind of a gym guy now. I know terms like that. Basically means that like when you start working out, like your muscles grow faster because they're so used to being fucking geriatric that they kind of pump up fast. But then it gets harder as you go along as your muscles get more used to the movement. So yeah, fuck all of you fuck all the doubters who said I couldn't go to the gym, right? But we're on track to get the Omni-Man physique by October, hopefully, so that we can do the cool cosplay. Maybe I'm going to need to work on the facial hair a little bit more. But all in all, I think we're pretty happy. Pretty happy about the progress in the gym. And look, the first time I went into the gym, was I terrified? Yes. Obviously, I mean, I'm not like, look, thing about me, right, is I've done a lot of really deeply painfully embarrassing things in my life to the point, and I'm still here. I'm still not dead. So reflecting on that further, I've come to kind of suspect that basically nothing could make me kill myself from embarrassment. Probably shouldn't have said that word so soon into the episode because of the YouTube thingy. That's fine. Algorithms and whatnot, AI tools, doesn't know how to put things in context. Also, the context is pretty horrible. That's fine too. But we're just going to keep a step. We're going to keep it stepping. So, yeah, like I've done a lot of embarrassing things in my life. So the embarrassment of going to the gym for the first time and being really weak, that wasn't weighing heavily on my soul at all. And I was kind of feeling fine about it, because I've bought a woman who was not interested in me in a whole bouquet of flowers, and not professed my love for her because that's a bit too far, but asked her out in a very public manner, and I have failed. So I've been through the meat grinder. You know what I mean? And you know what? I was a man about it. I walked into work the next day, said hi to her like nothing happened. Just had a normal conversation, pretended I didn't, but not in a way where I felt like I was trying to undo it, but in a way where I just felt like, hey, that happened. It's fine. We're moving past it. I know it was weird. Let's just skip to the part where this is okay. Even though it never will be truly, but it's just fine in a kind of a tolerable way that neither of us really feel. Well, we both feel a bit uncomfortable, but we're kind of being mature adults about it, I've done that. So walking in and bench pressing just the bar, I can do that no problem, right? I've literally given a woman a flower every day for 3 months and then asked her out and then it went nowhere. And then I had to live with that. And I'm fine after it, You know what I mean? I once was such a nerd in school, such an insecure guy, such a teacher's pet kind of boy, that when the teacher left the classroom and everyone started talking and having fun, while I was trying to do my homework, I threw a temper tantrum in the classroom and got into a fight with another kid because he was disrespecting the teacher's wishes when I was 11. So I've done things that are very embarrassing, right? So only being able to curl the 5 kilogram dumbbells, not a big deal for me, right? That's kind of the world we live in. I've gotten on stage at a comedy show while people I admire and respect were in the audience and bombed on my ass for several minutes. So not knowing how to rack the weights, that's fine by me, right? Not knowing the locker room etiquette, that's okay. Hiding my penis from the other men in the men's locker room at the gym, that's cool. Seeing a bad bitch, an attractive young woman, deadlift more than I ever could in my life, despite the fact she's basically half my height, and I should be way stronger than her, and I can't even deadlift the bar? That's fine by me. I can deadlift the bar, but just not. I could, but just not for reps, you know. So I had no embarrassments going into the gym, right? I was kind of going like, I can handle this. I've been through a lot, but still, in spite of all of that, in spite of the fact that someone once pulled my pants down in a very public manner in my second year of secondary school, before I had pubic hair, so I felt really insecure about it. Wasn't the only one who got pants that day. We were kind of doing a whole pantsing thing in school, but still definitely embarrassing for me specifically. Not knowing how to use the rowing machine wasn't a big deal, right? But then I got in there, right? And then you kind of go, but what if this is the thing that puts me over the edge of embarrassment in my life, you know? What if this is the thing that makes it irredeemable in my soul, you know? Because there's men in the gym. Real men. Real, strong, intimidating men. And I know what people say. They say, you know what, Aaron? All those guys in there, they see you. They saw you go up to bench press and try to bench press the bar, which only weighs 20 kilograms alone, and realizing that you couldn't even do that, and then going down to the 10 kilogram dumbbell bar, that thingy. They saw that and they thought, you know, wow, there's a guy. First of all, Aaron, they're not even thinking about you. That's what they always say. They always say they're not even thinking about you. But then they lie and say, but if they were thinking about you, they'd be thinking good things. They saw you do that, Aaron. And they thought to themselves, wow, good for that guy. You know, making an effort, you know, trying to be a better person. Right? When did we start pretending people were nice? Because I know what I'd do if I was a big jacked guy and I saw a little skinny boy come into the gym, thinner than the barbell, and not being able to lift the bar. I'd think, wow, what a loser. And that's good. It's good that I think that. It's good that everyone thinks that, because that's what everyone thinks. That's what they all think. They all think, wow, what a lazy fucking loser who will never amount to anything in his life, in his mortal finite life on earth. What a pathetic little worm. I laugh at him. I look at him and thank God that I am not him. That's what was happening, right? But I want it to be known, because this fantasy where I walk in and they're all like, you know what? Good for him, huh? Good for that young fella. Sure, maybe there was, maybe Mother Teresa was there doing her fucking crunches and she was thinking that, right? You know, maybe the new Pope was in my gym racking up 50 kilograms on each side of the deadlifting bar, and he was thinking, good for that young patron of Christianity trying to improve himself. But most people were thinking, wow, that's hilarious, right? At least on the first day, you know? Sure, maybe when they see me there after 2 weeks and I'm still going and I'm getting a bit stronger, now they're thinking, oh, wow, this guy's making progress, he's getting better. But all of their initial impressions were that I was a pathetic little worm. And that's good and that's fine. And you know why that's good and that's fine? Because I was. And still am a pathetic little worm. Now I can lift the bar and lift the bar with some weight on it, which aesthetically makes me look like I at least have some strength. So we're good there, right? But on that first day, by God, I looked like a twig. Especially compared to some of the guys in there. You know, some of them are just men who've been working hard for years. Some of them are on steroids, and that's fine. They know the risks. If that's the decision they want to make, that's good. But they make me look even weaker because now they look even more freakishly strong. And then there was just some genetic freaks of nature who, no matter how hard I work out, I could never be as big as them because they're just built different, like Kratos motherfuckers, right? So compared to all of these guys, now I look like a bitch. Do you know? And look, it's one thing, you know, because like, let's say, you know, I walk in there, I go underneath the bar and I start pushing up the empty bar, right? And then some 5'7" motherfucker is like, what a loser, can't even lift the bar. And he's jacked, right? He's jacked. But in the back of his mind, he knows that the second I start lifting real weight, I'll be better than he can ever be. Because I can increase the amount of weight I can lift, but he can never increase his height by 5 inches, right? So there's an insecurity in that guy about me, right? Most of them aren't that. Most of them are my height, but they're beasts. So when they think I'm a little whiny goblin, I take that, not personally, but I take that as a sign that I'm on the right path. I go, thank you. Thank you for not patronizing me by thinking, oh, well, that's so great for him. You know, I appreciate that. I appreciate you in your own mind calling me out for being skinny and scrawny. Because now when I'm bigger, it'll feel earned. Now when I am actually Omni-Man, which I will never be, and I know in the back of my head that now you're finally starting to respect me, I'll go, oh, the respect was earned. There didn't need to be respect there from the start because respect is earned, and now I've earned the respect, and now I feel like a real man. But never as much of a real man as them, because for me it's more about just being healthy and looking kind of good, whereas for them it's you know, a part of the lifestyle which I respect greatly. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm a guy who plays video games. I'm a guy who wants to play Doom: The Dark Ages. Really badly now, actually. You know, that's the kind of person who I have become. So, you know, truly I'll never be a great gym goer. You know, I haven't played video games in a long time. I recently started, you know, again, got back into God of War. You guys know the story about that. But to be honest, it's a huge waste of time. It's something that has, from the age of about 20 to 24, it started to dawn on me more and more drastically each year that playing video games was not what I should be doing with my life. The problem is between the ages of 20 and 22, my solution to that was to just watch TikTok brain rot for countless hours on end for 2 straight years, and then lost a lot of progress in life. We're making it back at a pretty stable rate. Don't feel like I'm falling behind. You know, I'm kind of really happy and content in the place I am in my life, even though it's not even though it's not the destination. Enjoying the journey, but not too much either. You know, still focus on the destination because we got to keep things balanced, right? But all that being said, having not really gamed in a while, I really want to maybe sit in my room from one end of the day to the other, only coming out for meals and play Doom the Dark Ages and not socialize with any other human beings and only focus on that to the point where it will destroy me, my mental health, and my relationships with others for at least 2 weeks. That's what I want to do. But obviously, I've grown as a person and I'm not going to do that because I recognize that it's a waste of my finite time on Earth and it's more based in fear than any sort of real sense of personal development. But that's fine too, because at least, the consequences of the fear and the consequences of actually a better person are actually the same. So even though I'm acting as a coward rather than as an upstanding member of the society, I'm getting the same results, which is better than getting no results. So we'll work in the long run on doing it for the right reasons, but for now, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons will work fine for our purposes at the moment. And he's only 24, so he has time to develop and grow, even though he won't, because he keeps making bad decisions in other aspects of life, becoming slightly a worse person, not to the point where he's morally corrupt, but the point where he's morally bankrupt, certainly. Right? So I've been thinking about, but I really want to play the games, right? So I was thinking about, what if I just, did, because, here's what I could do is I could stream because the thing about, gaming, of all the hobbies, it's the best hobby because games are great, because they're so interactive and there's, such depth to a lot of them these days, especially in the modern world, single-player games are taking off big time, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Doom the Dark Ages now, there's some quality, a bunch of others, there's some quality single player experiences out there with real story and real depth. I wouldn't say Doom the Dark Ages is real story and real depth, but it's got a story and crazy lore and really, really good gameplay. That's really engaging. So there's definitely a lot of interactive elements to gaming. The problem is that if I watch a movie that takes 2 hours and then it's done and then I've watched the movie and then I've gotten everything there is to enjoy about the movie. The thing with a game is it's got to be at least 70 hours before you get that same results. And the thing about time is that it's not infinite because of that whole thing with the Garden of Eden. Forbidden knowledge, tree of life, mortal men. All right, so not good on our part to be mortal because there's no video games in heaven, right? Because maybe there is. Probably there isn't a heaven and there's no afterlife and it all just goes black and that's fine too. Not really, but in a way, kind of, right? Which is why we shouldn't waste our time playing video games. We got to focus on the up and up, right? So we're focusing on the up and up. We're not playing video games. But he wants to find a way to play video games. So here's an idea. What if I started streaming the video games on this YouTube channel? Or for the listeners, on my YouTube channel, Aaron Chandler Comedy on YouTube. And then that's kind of I can lie to myself and say that it's actually for productive purpose because it's entertainment rather than just a time sink, right? Now, should maybe I actually spend more time writing comedy and refining my act and doing things like that instead of wanting to get back into a hobby that consumed my life for years? And do I regret playing those games? Definitely a little bit, but also, I do recognize that it was quite fun. And it has made me the man I am today, which is a man that I am kind of not happy with being, but content and slowly getting where I want to be going. So gotta also kind of think that way that maybe there wasn't a regret because doing that made me the man I am today. But, there was also probably a bunch of other paths that would lead me to being this man today. Some of them even faster and maybe more progress. But it's fine because we can't go back and change time because we're not the Flash. We're just a guy who goes to the gym, isn't as fast as the Flash. Probably gets laid more, but not a lot more, just a little bit, because he fucks his sister, and that's weird. Even though, sorry, I'm getting off the rails here, right? The point is, maybe I'll stream some games, right? I'd love to stream God of War, because that's a good story game. It's got a lot of depth, I can talk about themes and things, But right now, I really don't play Doom the Dark Ages, and while that doesn't have as much of that, it is really, really cool. So it's hard to find the balance there. That's kind of that's basically my feelings on all of that. So yeah, maybe we might do some streams in the near future. The thing about streaming is I don't know how to do that because I don't know how to get my camera and the game camera to be on the screen together. Technology like that is beyond my physical understanding. I was thinking about that recently. Is technology has come so far in the past 20, 30 years. genuinely, I've realized, because when computers first started becoming popular and like household objects when I was a kid, I was like way better at the computer than anyone in my family because I knew like the Control C, Control V shortcuts. So I was kind of on another level to them. And I had the most rudimentary understanding of Excel ever. So people were just like, oh, wow, he might actually be a child prodigy and a genius. But things have gotten much more complicated in that time, to the point where people like things that like are commonplace, like things that you see every day on the internet, the most commonplace of things. If I think about them for more than 2 seconds, I genuinely start to realize that like I don't think I could replicate that with 1,000 hours of time if left to my own devices. Luckily, there's people on YouTube who just tell you how to do these things. But if I had to figure it out for myself, it would be over. Even though a lot of it's very simple, like getting the game, but then my face in the corner on a camera, that's impossible. Like, I don't even, to be fair, like I still haven't started. I use the camera on my phone for this, even though I have a nice camera, but I just haven't been arsed to set it up yet. But like, I also haven't a clue how to splice the audio with the footage from the camera in a way that's like efficient. Like, I don't know how to do that at all. Oh, the green light is shining into the camera. We try to avoid that, but I bet it's been doing that the whole episode, and that's fine. Even well, the camera quality is really weird and bad this episode anyway. Maybe there's like a smudge on the camera lens. Maybe that's it. I think that probably is it. I'm not going to fix that now because we're in the middle of the episode and now it would be kind of weird, but like I bet that's what's going on. So yeah. That was all interesting stuff, right? So yep. So we got some other topics there. Well, hey guys. Doom the Dark Ages does look really fun. Not going to talk about that. Probably kind of gave it enough attention in the grand scheme of this podcast, right? Summer time is here in Ireland. It's kind of the good weather's not going away. Thank you, global warming. It's been real. I'm very happy with the effects. If we could just stop right now at this very instant from it even getting slightly hotter, that would be pretty great, because Ireland's kind of coming up cash money with this whole situation, right? The water levels haven't quite risen enough yet for it to be a threat to us. So we're doing a okie dokie by me. I need to get a summer wardrobe. But I've noticed maybe some of the fashion heads in my audience who don't exist because there is no audience for this show could point this out to me. But I've noticed this year, a lot of the major clothing vendors have been caught lacking on their summer wardrobes. Like last year, right? I got a couple of these bad boys, these kind of cotton cardigan almost things, I guess. These button down over shirt cardigans with the short sleeves. They were all the rage last year. They look unbelievable. You know, they're not quite old money, but they're not quite casual either. They have there's a respectability about them, right? There's something about them that's kind of, maybe I'll just wipe the lens a little bit, see how that goes. Oh my God, that's perfect now. Oh wow, oh that was it the whole time. Hey guys, now the camera quality looks fine. Wow, it's actually crazy how much of a difference that made. I didn't even clean it. I wiped it with my thumb. That's insane. Well, now the episode looks better. So there we go, huh? Oh well, we're not too far into this episode. It's gonna be maybe a bit of a shorter one, because I want to do another one this week just to catch us up on where we're supposed to be. I didn't acknowledge last week that I'm behind on the episodes, but I am, and that's fine. So there was great, they were great cardigans like this. There were great overshirts. They were great just button down summery linen shirts last year. All about the place, you know. Good t-shirts. I guess they always have good t-shirts everywhere, so that's fine. But nice variety of shorts, plissé ones, linen ones, swim shorts with nice patterns. This year they've taken a shit. These clothing companies like Marks and Spencer's, they're gone balls to the walls. They've gone off the rails. All of their they don't have any shirts like these. The ones they do have are in atrocious colorways. They don't have any of the cotton ones. They're all either polyester or like this weird linen kind of nylon blend, which is kind of not ideal. And then they've got absolutely no like nice overshirts, which is kind of a joke, right? Obviously. And then they've got no good options for pants or shorts. Now, to be fair, last year Marks and Spencer's weren't the guys for the pants or shorts, so that's fine, right? But then, like, let's say other vendors like River Island, they're often great for a pants or a short. This year, they've taken a shit on it completely. H&M, good pants this year, definitely good shorts. Everything for the above chest, they don't know what they're doing. They're gone completely off the rails. So this is kind of a concern, guys. You know, Brown Thomas even. Brown Thomas, I was in there the other day. I was like, maybe I'll treat myself to a nice jacket, you know, something like summery, you know, something light, something kind of airy, but, you know, with a bit of class. You know, I'll give myself a bit of elegance, right? Disastrous selection in there. Good colors, but nothing good style wise, you know? So I'm putting the word out there. You know, I mean, Old Money was big last year. I think Old Money is kind of the best summer aesthetic, but that's because I wear suits in the wintertime, you know what I mean? I'm kind of just a douchebag and a bit of a strange character, but not in a way where I'm trying to be, but also in a way that I am very aware of it, but in a way that I think people have come to accept that I just wear suits. And it's not really like, oh, look at him trying to wear a suit. It's like, Aaron wears suits, but not in like a kind of like, in a way that's drawing attention to myself. It's just, I feel comfortable in that. And I think people recognize that. And I think people recognize that I'm doing it for the right reasons. And I hope I am. But also, you know, there is definitely a pretentious quality about the whole thing. And I'm aware of that too. And I try to work against that. But then sometimes I lean into it because it's fun. Right? So that's just me talking about that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, even some of the big, like, fashion YouTubers, like, I'm into that, you know? Like, the boys, Alex Costa over there, like, they're not even putting up potential summer wardrobes. And I know it's only May, but, like, I think they're all kind of aware. It's like, hey, like, the look this year isn't ideal. And now, like, the Old Money look is kind of very simple because you can use the same stuff every year because it's very basic aesthetic. But those items just are not in the ecosphere this year. Like, those, like, nice, simple items that kind of get you going, they're nowhere to be found. Like just something like this. Now, this is a bit more casual, but like they just don't exist on the market now. I'm glad I bought them all last year before it was too late. But I don't know why they're going out of stock. And I don't know why these like Hawaiian shirt kind of things are coming in now. They're bringing on Hawaiian shirts. Like, we're not fat Americans in an 80s movie. We're normal people. That was like, and you know that looks bad because that was back when not everyone in America was fat. That was back when like they had like a couple of fat people around and they were like, holy fuck, that's crazy. And now they're all like that and it's worrying. But back then it was a big like just, it was just funny. It was like, I can't believe that exists. But now it's like all of them look like that, which is really sad because they wash their eggs. I think that's why that's happening. Right? Or maybe because if you go to a McDonald's there, their small is our large, and that's fine too. And I like America. You know what I mean? I've come to realize, I think I'll fall in love with an American person. I think that's my destiny because they're cute. You know, Americans are just cute and they're fun, and you know their naivety. I don't want to be that dickhead. I don't want to call it naivety, but they're kind of like their gumption about the world. It is naivety, but let's call it gumption to make them feel good about themselves. It's actually charming and endearing in a way, you know? Like, you know what I love? I love an American who comes over here and then like they just want to point out to you that they don't support Donald Trump. You know? That's cute, you know? Because I don't care. Because I didn't like you anyway. Because you're an American. The fact that you don't support him has made you no better in my mind. Because to me, you're all the one annoying people with a weird accent and notions about yourselves, you know? Just so you know, I don't support Donald Trump. Who are you? You don't matter. You're just any American person. You mean nothing to me. Donald Trump doesn't care that you don't support him, and neither do any of us, you know? That doesn't make us, you're liberally minded. Oh, well, now it's great that you come over here and tell us that you're Irish. Oh, well, now I believe that your heritage is, I believe that you're actually related to the King of Munster now because you said that. It's like, bro, you're annoying either way. All right? It's not like, how do I explain this to you? It's not what you are, it's who you are. No. It's not who you are, it's what you are. It's one of those. And I know those are opposites, but it's one of those things, right? It's like the fact, like your views mean nothing. It's your entire cultural identity that I stand against. And I know you might reject that, but that's actually, for me, that might be even worse. Because I don't like your loud, obnoxious attitudes, right? And most of them aren't like that. Most of them are very nice people. And this is where the problem is inherent. It's because most of them don't like that either. But it's like, those are your countrymen. So when you come over here and you start disparaging your countrymen, no matter how bad they are, when you start like putting them down, when you go, I don't like those fat people, you know, who are all loud with their pickup trucks and things like that. You know what I think? I think ride for your boy. Because they're your fellow compatriots. And you come over here and you dismiss them out of hand. And I know you probably don't like them in enough of yourself. But the fact that you come over here and disparage them to me, a stranger from another land, just so I'll like you, that's pathetic. Defend your fellow citizens, not out of patriotism or pride, but just out of common decency, you know? Like, and let's not pretend that you're not annoying either. It's like, oh no, we're not those like guys who ride trucks down in the South. We're from California. We like art. Oh, do you know? You mean you like Hollywood art? You like American art? I'm from a culture that predates your civilization. And you're telling me you like art? If you saw the Sistine Chapel, your brain would explode. That's the continent I'm representing. So don't tell me that you saw Hamilton on Broadway and that means you deserve my respect now. Because you don't. And don't disparage your fellow man because their idea of art is watching John Wick 2. Because that's on the same level. And guess what? I like both of those things. But I don't like you. Because you've got notions. That's the problem with Americans. They've all got notions. They all think they're important. You're not. It's not important that you don't like your president because you're just a citizen. It's not important that you do like your president because you're just a citizen. Your president isn't important to me because I'm not from there. And I know a lot of his decisions will affect my life, but I don't care. That last part, I don't know if that is fully, I stand by that. But the point is, right, is if I went over to your country, this doesn't work because my country's small enough that we kind of have a homogenous cultural identity still. It's a pretty small country, right? But if a British person went over to America and started chatting shit about Scotland, wouldn't you think, hey, they're your brothers, you know? And if a British person came over to America and they started saying, well, you know, actually, we're basically Americans because we started America because the colonists came over and we started Wall Street over there. So actually, I suppose, in a way, I kind of connect with this culture of America because my father was also a criminal who got exiled here. You'd be like, no, the fuck you're not. Why are you making this about you? This isn't about you. This is America. This is a different thing. This is our thing. Why? You see, I guess the thing is America's actually just 50 countries, right? I don't know. I didn't know how to close the bow on that whole thing, but there's nothing more annoying. First of all, Americans, like, they're actually all so lovely, but their insecurity is annoying because they want foreigners to like them because they know that they don't. They know that we don't. I do like most of them. Most of them are actually the most, like, they're actually the most lovely people usually ever. Even the ones who definitely did vote for Donald Trump, usually if you talk to them for a while, when they're a guest in your country, they're nice. You know what I mean? They just are, you know? And they could go back home and give their son a gun and send him to school with it. But here, when they go over here, they're just sweet and pleasant and they have a sense of awe about, you know, because they grew up in places where there aren't castles, and we have castles on every street block, and they think that's great, and that is great, and they're so sweet, and they're so generous, and they always leave tips, and they're so nice, and they are just the most pleasant, wonderful people. But Jesus Christ, just accept that I don't like you. And it's not that I don't like you, it's just that I know you want me to like you so badly. That's the problem here, you know? You thinking you're Irish isn't going to make us connect. They want to connect with people so badly. Like, sometimes, bro, there just isn't a bond. Like, you know, they want to bring up how, like, you know, they apologize for being American, and yet they still are. Don't apologize for what you are. Be what you are. Accept what you are. But don't be insecure about it either. You know what I mean? Don't force it upon me. Just chill. You see, American people are so uncool. They're just not cool. That's the thing. They're just not cool. They just can't vibe, you know? They just can't, like Americans are just that awkward person at the party who just can't really kind of fit in, you know? It's like, bro, if you got good energy, man, just take it down a notch. Don't apologize for yourself or on your friend's behalf. Just be who you are, but in like a way that's not kind of imposing, and we can all just kind of get along here, you know? This doesn't need to be difficult for anyone. And yet they just have to go, well, actually, I just disagree with a lot of what's going on in my country. I don't care. No one does. And the type of people who do are not the type of people you want to like, because the type of people who do, they don't have lives. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't think about what goes on in your country. I know it's horrible, but I've got my own shit. I've got potholes in the middle of my roads. You think I care that Kanye is a Nazi? I do a bit, but I don't like you bringing it up. You know, just be cool. They just need to learn to be cool. They just need to learn to chill. You know what I mean? Because they're great, but they're so self-defeating. They're their own worst enemies. You know, just don't be proud to be American, but don't be resentful of it either. Don't be coming over here going, no, well, I was born in America, but actually, like, I think a lot of what you guys do in Europe here is pretty cool. No, don't be either. Just be like, yeah, I'm American. You know, you never hear an American say that. You never hear an American go, yeah, I'm American. You know, they have so much pride in their hearts. And we do too in Ireland too, but we have more of a self-resentful pride. Whereas they project their pride outwards, you know, onto others. Whereas we project our pride inwards and we go, you know, whereas they go, right? And I think that I don't need to articulate that any further. Not because I can't, but because I think that was good enough. And because I can't. But just be cool, Americans, bros. It's all good, you know? It's all good that you're from America. You know, like, you got nice cars. You got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a great movie. You know, you got the national parks and the Grand Canyon. You know, you got the cool cultural things going on. You know, like, I like cowboys, and I like people from New York too, and I don't like people from California just on principle alone. And I like people from the Midwest and from like Florida even. You know, like, it's grand, but just shut the fuck up for 2 minutes and just let it ride. Just let it ride, baby. Just vibe out. Just vibe out, man. You know, that's all Americans need to do. They just need to take a chill pill, and let's just all cruise along through life. You know, just be happy to be here. You know, I think that's kind of a good message, right? I guess I might just end it there. You know, because I didn't really make a good point there, but I said how I felt, and I didn't articulate it fully well. But that's fine too. We're gonna get better as the podcast as time goes on. We're not there yet, but we're almost there, and that's all right, baby. It's all good. Hey, I'll see you guys next time, huh?